Guys, we finally have some good news. Quite a few good news, actually. I'll share all about these good news in this one video. So the first news of all, very good. NIO has successfully ramped up production of the ES8. We learned in one of the previous videos that the limiting factor has been the batteries. Now, one of my subscribers on my Discord has said that he's able to take delivery of his NIO ES8 earlier than expected. It was supposed to happen 2 to 3 weeks later, but he can take delivery of it basically immediately. So, this does really signify that they are ramping up production like crazy. And remember, the utmost priority for NIO right now is to deliver as many cars as they can in Q4 right now instead of next year, because every extra car that they push into next year incurs a 15,000 RMB extra tax increase subsidy that NIO has to pay, which is roughly around 2,000 US dollars. And NIO does not want to pay that, all right, obviously. So it's better to get as many cars as they can delivered this year. So it is good news. People getting their cars earlier than expected. This is definitely very, very good. And it seems like they probably have sort of, asked CATL to give them more batteries. And on the battery front, look at this video. This video is, of course, a big truck of Envo batteries. They've committed to adding up to 8,000 extra Envo batteries into the swap stations. Of course, you're thinking, hey, why can't they make ES8 batteries? Because that's the one that's the limiting factor, the bottleneck for ES8. Well, they're different production lines, so they don't really affect each other in that sense. And this move is really to try to spur up demand for the Envo L90. In my previous video, we talked about how Envo L90 has seen some demand drop, deliveries drop. So not that good, but this is supposed to instill confidence into consumers and hopefully incentivize people to really buy an Envo car right now, because we can't just purely rely on the ES8. We do also need the Envo L90 to pick up its slack, really regain 10,000 per month, and then even more vehicles. Of course, Envo being the mass market brand, it really needs to sell more. It only makes sense that the mass market brand sells more than the premium brand, right? So we really want to see those numbers pick up, and that's exactly what that move is for. But when it comes to, in terms of the caption of that battery video, people were asking, I thought the target was Q4 profitability. How come they're spending so much money on batteries? Well, I wouldn't be too concerned. Obviously, if they can sell more cars through this move, then it's going to be worth it. It's like an investment for them. They're investing in themselves. They're investing in Envo, which is very, very nice. Speaking of investment in themselves, we talked about on our channel recently, there's been that big EC6 accident, which has gone viral, to sort of make everybody regain confidence in the EC6. NIO has a new endorsement, a new celebrity. I don't personally know the celebrity or know what she does, but they do have this new celebrity promo video that they're showcasing, trying to promote the EC6 and reiterating how safe it is. So this is, of course, more marketing effort to boost the sales of EC6 and also some of the existing NIO vehicles, which is also very, very nice. Now let's talk about good news that relates specifically to the stock, which shareholders are concerned about. And that is the fact that NIO CEO has recently gone on camera and said that things have gotten better. All right. And he explicitly said, a lot of people have been asking, when will NIO go bankrupt? When will NIO go under? And then he sort of said that, NIO has just been losing money for only 10 years, right? As if 10 years isn't a long time. Well, obviously, compared to Tesla, 16 years, 10 years is, significantly shorter amount of time. And then he did reiterate that things are getting better, meaning they're selling more cars, the vehicle margins are getting better, and it's much safer, actually, their vehicles, because of the newer tech that they have, and also, margins, especially because they're using less material whilst not compromising on safety. So this is pretty nice. And seeing the deliveries really increase, these past few months, that has really boosted NIO CEO's confidence in the company. And then things are getting better, which sort of signifies that NIO will not go bankrupt. And I also have that belief that NIO is too valuable to go under. But that is, of course, not financial advice. But the CEO is very confident that things are getting much better. Now, even though the trade-in subsidy being taken away is kind of, really bad for Envo, and it has disproportionately impacted Envo more. We talked about that, how their deliveries have dropped substantially. But I think going to the future, without subsidies, we're really going to see NIO be able to stand out, because in the future, I've heard a lot of experts say this, you really have to compete on the product front. Like, who has the better product? Because if you're not being subsidized, then you really just compete on the better product, the better features, the better service. And NIO has all those. It ticks all those boxes. And then when the sort of the tides of the subsidy goes away, you can really see who's actually running naked, so to speak. Basically, a lot of other cars that rely heavily on subsidies, like some other brands, they perhaps when the subsidy is gone, they're not going to sell that well, right? If you really compete on the product front, then NIO has this nailed. So then it comes down to marketing and letting people know about these products, and people comparing these products, and of course, offering these products. And this is the big key point, offering these products, because a lot of customers want a 900 volt NIO, but their only choice right now is the ES8 or the ET9. That's it, right? If you want a smaller form factor, you're gonna have to wait, and that's a problem, because some people might be a little bit impatient. And recently I've seen a lot of these Li Auto i8s and Li Auto i6s on the road, and I hate to say it, but maybe they're taking some market share from these impatient buyers that want a pure electric 900 volt smaller SUV, not the ES8. So it's not really NIO's fault. I just really hope that they can really sell those cars, bring them to market ASAP. And I've been chirping about this. It's sort of like launching the 17 Pro Max, iPhone 17 Pro Max, but you're still trying to sell the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, right? It's kind of like, sure, people will buy it, but you already have the new product. You already showcased the new features. Why don't you bring it to the rest of the lineup so that customers can finally buy it? And you're still trying to sell the previous generation product. It's sort of forcing some customers away. But I'm sure loyal NIO owners will wait. For me personally, of course, there's zero chance of me switching to a Li Auto, basically. So, yeah, we'll have to see, That's the biggest, if I could say, like, management can do one thing that's different, next year, 2026, they're launching more large SUVs, all right, the Envo L80, and then the ES7, the ES9. These are all big 900 volt SUVs, but you don't have any like smaller form factor SUVs for the mass market, right? Those ES6 buyers, they're looking at somewhere else. And then if you don't give them something to bite on, they're going to bite on some other product, okay? So if I had to change something, 2026, launch the ES9, but also launch the ES6, or at least launch the ET5 900 volt platform, because you need to rescue the sales. You can't afford to lose customers to other guys that have 900 volt platform. But that's just my take, right? We do have good news. Let's keep that the focus. So let's celebrate about the good news. Ramp up has been successful. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.